Gonna start this off the opposite way that we did last time. Tyler, Justin, Library Chess Productions, and welcome to the first update video, I guess the month of May, but technically it's the first day of June now, so whatever. The first update video for the 2018 Library Chess Productions movie draft. So if you're watching this video and you have absolutely no idea what the movie draft is, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, you gotta go back, and I'm gonna put the link to the video in the description. You gotta go back and watch the first episode, the debut episode of the 2018 Library Chess Productions movie draft. It's a decent sized video, but it's kind of a cool concept that we came up with that I don't think really exists anywhere else, certainly not in this format on the internet. Before you go and do that, we are going to give you at least the tiniest little bit of insight into exactly what this is. We each have a roster of 10 movies that once the movies release, they're locked in. We judge them on a number of criteria, mostly from Rotten Tomatoes, but there's obviously other criteria that goes into it. And we're just going to give you a couple of my personal favorite title cards. We're going to give you just a bit of an insight into what our movies are and what our scoring system is. Here it comes. So now, you know the movies, you know the criteria. What this video is going to be is it's going to be letting you know what the current standings of the movie draft are. And obviously, if you're familiar with fantasy sports, that's the idea. It's an ongoing fantasy sports matchup. The score is going to change from a month-to-month basis, which is why we're going to come on here periodically and do these update videos. So you're going to find out what the current standings are. After the standings, we have the trade the trade section, I guess, of the update video, where each of us has the opportunity, if we want to trade out a movie that is not yet released. I have the right of first choice because Tyler had the right of first pick with his movie, and he took Avengers in the first round. So again, go back and watch the movie draft video once you finish watching this one, because we think it's kind of interesting and it's fun, and you get to find out, you know, kind of what our logic was behind picking the movies that we picked. So, a little bit of behind the scenes information here. I've been the one keeping tally and keeping score. I certify that these scores are genuine and honest, and I know I'm lying. And if I'm lying, I'm doing a terrible job of it. So, to this point in the year, I've had 2 movies that have released. I had Deadpool, and I had Solo, A Star Wars Story. Tyler's only had 1 movie release, but it's his first round draft pick, which was Avengers Infinity War. Deadpool and Solo, by the way, was my 3rd and 4th round pick. So we're going to start off with the money. Worldwide box office. This is worth 3 points in our scoring system, so it's important. Everything else is only worth 2. Box office is worth 3. My 2 movies, Deadpool 2 and Solo, A Star Wars Story, have grossed, to this point, combined $725 million. Tyler's 1 movie, Avengers Infinity War, has grossed $1.919 billion. So it's almost at $2 billion. So that is 3 points for Tyler.
I'm killing it. My 1 movie is stomping.
Oh, your 1 movie's slaughtering already. Don't worry, it's not gonna change.
It would get closer.
Yeah.
With like your 2 movies, not individually, but like your 2 combined, but I didn't think it was that big of a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's massive.
Yeah, the gap's pretty big.
Yeah, that's huge.
Next metric is the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes. And obviously this would be an average of all of the movies once we've released them, but this is what the standings say so far. With my 2 movies, Deadpool 2 and Solo, A Star Wars Story, they have tomato meter scores of 83 and 71 respectively for an average of 77. Tyler's one movie has a tomato meter of 83, therefore 2 points for Tyler.
Oh, it moved down one. I thought I was at 84.
Yeah, it did.
It moved down a point.
Actually, yours moved down a point, and from the time that I had last checked them, both of mine moved up one. Because I had it at 82 and 70, so it actually moved up to 83 and then up to 71. I mean, that still didn't obviously make up the gap that I needed to make up. But, I mean, hey, if Solo hadn't have released, we'd be tied. We'd have had to split that one.
It's a good thing for me right now that we average instead of just taking total percentage and going that way.
Exactly, yeah. Now we go to Rotten Tomatoes critical score, which is different from the tomato meter. If you don't know how, you should probably tweet Rotten Tomatoes to figure that out. But yeah, the tomato meter is literally just what percentage of critics would give this a pass, essentially. Or give it a 50%, or whatever. Favorable reviews versus non-favorable reviews. This is their literal score averaged out of 10. So, Deadpool 2 and Solo: A Star Wars Story have Rotten Tomatoes critical scores of 70 and 64 respectively for an average of 67 or 6.7 out of 10. Avengers: Infinity War has a critical score on Rotten Tomatoes of 74, so 7.4 out of 10. That is 2 points for Tyler, who is now leading this 7-0.
I got the advantage of only having one movie.
Well,
when it comes to the average.
Oh yeah, eventually, like I say, that's why it's so interesting because it's an ongoing matchup, right? So it changes with everything that releases.
We kind of figured something like this would happen. We figured Infinity War would across the board do well. Now I'll let you finish, but it's not doing as well in some ways as I thought and probably you thought.
Next thing that we have is the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, which works the exact same way as critical score. It's actually for audiences, it's a rating out of 5, but that's easy enough to generate out of 10 and then out of 100. So my two movies, Deadpool 2 and Solo: A Star Wars Story, have audience scores of 84 and 68, respectively, which is an average of 76. Which is, you know what? It's 3/4, whatever.
Friggin' Solo, though.
I know, Solo kind of torpedoes
I knew the Deadpool audience score would be quite good.
Yeah, actually, that's lower than I expected. I really expected like high 80s into like 90. Avengers: Infinity War has a Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 4.5 out of 5, which is 9 out of 10, which is 90. So 2 points for Tyler, who now leads 9-0.
The audience came to play on Infinity War. I didn't know it was that high.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought like Deadpool would give it some trouble in audience score, but it didn't really.
Not really. Actually, that audience score has come down because for quite a while it was 4.6 out of 5, which is 92. So it actually came down a little bit.
Thanks, audience.
Luckily for me, but and that's weird because like at the end of the year, that's the kind of thing like a 2-point difference could knock you just down low enough that we either split a number or you wind up losing it. But so far you're not doing any losing, so it's okay. And the last metric that we have to judge by is Cinema Score. For those of you that don't know, Cinema Score, it polls audiences specifically on opening night. I thought it was all over opening weekend, but Cinema Score is like specifically opening night.
Yeah.
And it gives them a score out of 13, a letter grade out of 13, which we have generated now into a point total. So, for my two movies, Deadpool 2 scored an A, which is 12 points, and Solo: A Star Wars Story actually scored an A- on opening night.
Wow.
Which is good. So that's 11 points, which leaves me with an average of 11.5, which is right in between an A- and an A.
This is going to be close. I don't know the Cinema Score, because I haven't actually looked at these.
Right, exactly. The Cinema Score for Avengers: Infinity War from opening night was an A, which is 12 points, which means 2 points.
I edged
and a
it.
shutout for the goaltender, Tyler. Tyler leads this bad boy 11-0.
Yeah, but once the second movie comes out, this could all change. Although, okay, I might as well ask you, what surprises you, if anything?
I am surprised. If I look at yours, the only thing that surprises me about Avengers is that the critical score is that low. Like, the critical score is 74.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's only a 7.4 out of 10, I kind of thought critics would be a little bit more on board with it than it is. But then again, I mean, the tomato meter's 83, so it's fine. Deadpool 2, I'm pleased with the box office. Solo, that's a whole nother conversation, which will happen on this channel eventually. The tomato meter and the scores all around for Solo. And that's really, it's not even that it's so much, now having watched the movie, it doesn't really shock me. But before the movie came out, if you would have told me the tomato meter is going to be 71, the critical score is going to be 64, and the audience score is going to be 68, I'd be like, I'm very disappointed with that.
I wasn't really surprised with how Solo was doing because just on a personal level, I was not excited for it at all, but that doesn't mean anything. But it didn't really have the same amount of buzz. There was a lot of weird stuff going on. I'm not, like I said, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't really sure.
Right.
When we were doing the draft, I was fearful because I didn't grab Solo when I could have, but I'm glad that I didn't.
Yeah, because
I really was iffy on this one.
Yeah. It's the first instance, that's the first instance in the movie draft of one of us kind of dodging a bullet.
Yeah.
Right? And the other one taking that bullet squarely in the 4th round.
It's weird that it's Star Wars.
It's weird that it's Star Wars, but yeah, it's true. But yeah, 11-0, Tyler's in the lead. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right now to get your gloating out of the way before we go into our trade phase, if you would so like, because I've certainly earned it.
I'm the best so far.
He's the best so far. So now we enter the last phase, which is the trade phase. Each one of us has the opportunity, if we so wish, to replace one of the movies that has not released yet from our list, because once it releases, it's locked in. But a movie that has not yet released, we have an opportunity to do the swap. I have the right of first choice because I lost the coin flip, the 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 or whatever coin flip that we did, which Tyler elected to take the first movie, which so far has worked out very well for him. So he won that, so I have this right, and I will be exercising my right to make a trade because my 6th round pick, Captive State, has actually been delayed until 2019. So I am definitely forced to make a move on that because I certainly can't just leave a space empty. I don't have enough goodwill built up to be able to do that. So officially, I trade my 6th round pick, which was Captive State. I'm now going to eliminate that from my list.
See ya.
And in its place, I'm replacing it with Mamma Mia 2.
Ooh.
So I'm going to pull that into my list in the 6th round spot. And basically my reason for selecting that one is a box office I think is going to do really well. And that's where I'm trailing the most. So I had to kind of look at the movies that were available to me and think like, okay, I need to, that's my biggest gap. So I need something that's going to make, if nothing else, make a lot of money. Comments?
So I had Mamma Mia as like my 23rd pick. So there was a chance that would have made mine eventually, but then I ultimately chose not to. Yeah, I agree. It's going to make money. I just couldn't pick it myself. I didn't put it higher because I don't know that it's going to do anything else.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
I haven't seen. I've forgotten my research I did on the first one, but I don't think the first one did exceptional in terms of reception.
I don't think so. No, I think it was kind of middling. It was kind of middle of the road. But like that box office gap is so much. So now Tyler has the opportunity. If he'd like to make a trade, this would be his time to do so.
Why change a winning strategy?
Fair enough.
I literally have nothing. I got one movie out, and it's done mostly what I expected. Maybe, like we said, could have done a little better on the critical reception. And really just reception, I guess. Well, no, because audience reception was really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I'm keeping mine as is since I only got one movie out. Right. Might change next month. I don't know. I got a good movie coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't think, but we'll see.
There you go. So Tyler has forfeited his right to make a trade this time around. There you go, folks. There's the first update on the 2018 Library Chess Productions movie draft. One of us is doing very well. The other one certainly has some work to do to make up the gap at this point. Any parting words before we sign off?
You're all lovely.
You are all lovely. Especially if you watch this video and it prompts you to go back and watch the first movie draft video, which I think more people should watch.
You'd be super lovely.
You would be super lovely if you did those things. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. Tyler, Justin, Library Chess Productions, and we will see you again for the next update video.
See ya.